It's lovely to be here. My name's Kirsty and I have been working for Scripture Union Scotland for the last year. My role is festival coordinator, so I was employed to organise a youth festival that was meant to start this summer. This was meant to be our kind of first year of kicking off, and as you all know, obviously things changed, and so we had to very quickly adapt our plans and take the festival online. So we've had a really kind of strange 6 months of completely flipping everything that we thought was going to happen and trying to adapt and still make that engaging for the groups that were going to sign up. So I'm just going to talk through a wee bit of how that all worked and what I felt were the kind of engaging parts of it, and how else SU have adapted their sort of resources over the past few months. So back in April, so kind of just before Easter, we would normally run Easter camps, and we had created resources that were going to be shared over those Easter camps. And we thought it was a real shame to not go ahead and do something. So what they decided to do was create something called SUTV. And that basically was 10 episodes that were going to go up every day over the Easter holidays that were going to be about 40 minutes worth of content. Some of it would be teachings, so Scripture Union obviously have an aim to focus on faith and Christianity, so it gave young people to explore what that means for them. But there were also lovely little challenges for people to be involved in. We really encouraged young people to sort of recreate the challenges at home and then engage on social media if they were able to. And so that was the first kind of attempt that we had of kind of online youth work. And to be honest with you, an organisation like SU, you probably think, how have they not done this before? You know, why are they not doing it? And actually it's because, like yourselves, we all really value the in-person youth work. However, these are new times, and it was amazing just to kind of try and adapt what we would normally do in person to taking that fully online. One of the incredible things about that project was we were able to bring together lots of different people who have loads of different skills. So thankfully, one of the camps that's going to be running over Easter was a drama camp. So as I'm sure you can imagine, all of the leaders were very enthusiastic about being able to create videos and film themselves and create this program for online. So that was a really kind of good way to sort of kick off online youth work for us. We found that most people engaged with their families, so people would watch the episode at home, kind of watch along with whoever's in the house and respond in that way. So that was a really kind of good way to start off. As we headed into the summer, we were a wee bit kind of sceptical of how we could possibly do a festival online. As I said, this was going to be our first year of launching it in person, and so it's going to be very, very different for us to be able to adapt that. However, we felt it was a real responsibility at that point that we would do something at least. So we had, I think, nearly 500 people already signed up to come to the festival. So we knew that there was at least, 500 people who would want to engage with the programme, and we felt committed to be able to pull something together for them. What we did know is that we wanted it to be really high quality. I'm sure all of you over the last few months have enjoyed seeing the insides of lots of people's living rooms or their bedrooms or wherever they've been able to film, but we wanted something that was a little bit different for young people, so that it looked different amongst the many kind of YouTube videos that we were pointing everyone to over the last few months. So what we decided to do was have a 2.5-day programme, which was completely free and was going to be shared over YouTube and Facebook. But what we encouraged was that youth leaders would sign up their group. So say you had a group of 20 people, all you needed to do was go on, sign up for free, and it just meant that you got all of the content delivered to you each day, which was, I think, ideal for people. We found that basically we were waiting for the very last moment for Nicola Sturgeon to announce that we might be able to get something filmed in person. So it was kind of mid-July, and I really didn't want to film in a bedroom. I was like, I really want to set up a studio. So we hired a space in Glasgow and set up a kind of stage area. So we made it look like a festival as much as we possibly could, and filmed the hosting and the kind of worship elements of the festival there as well. So this meant that the videos actually were a complete surprise to everyone, because they all thought, you know, that it was going to be, they all thought it was going to be filmed in someone's room, and actually it wasn't. It looked entirely different. We had people engaging all the way from the very north of Scotland. So we had people from Orkney all the way down to Salisbury, which is in the very south of England. And overall, we had just over 1,000 sign-ups, which we thought was just incredible. It completely blew our minds that you know, that many people would want to engage with something online. One of the things we really valued was setting up relationships with the youth leaders. So obviously, as a team, we're heavily involved in our own kind of youth groups and things like that. We wanted to bring together the leaders to support each other, to kind of talk through each day and kind of make sure they had everything that they would need to go through the programme. So we met each morning and kind of just chatted together, broke out into small groups, and kind of chatted about our individual circumstances. And we found that was great, because it meant, as the people who were running it, we were able to get stories and feedback from them, to kind of think, okay, what's working for the young people, and you know, if we were going to do this again, how would we change it up? So yeah, that was really helpful for that. In terms of content, what we did was we had 3 evening sessions, and again, those were in YouTube videos. I think they were just about an hour long. And then we also had a seminar programme at the festival that we would do in person. We would normally have seminars that are optional for young people to sign on to. And for these ones, we found that there were big kind of international justice focuses that we wanted to look at. So we partnered up with IGM and We Are Tear Fund, and they ran some sessions on modern day slavery and also Black Lives Matter. And at that point, I'm sure you can imagine, it was back in kind of July, those were kind of very heightened issues, and actually the young people had loads that they wanted to share and talk about. So yeah, I thought it was amazing just to be able to focus on those things for an hour each day, and then give the opportunity in the afternoon for young people to respond in a way that they would see fit. So we had all sorts of things. So some people were writing letters to their local authorities, some were responding creatively, so whether that was, you know, writing a song or a poem, spoken words, that kind of thing, or even actively. So we had a couple of challenges in the afternoon where people could raise awareness and raise money for the issues that they've been learning about. So we had this thing called Just Ride to Magnitude, and people could cycle the miles that they would have normally travelled to get to the festival. So we found that actually this was great, because youth groups could then meet in person. It was outdoors, and you know, 5 of them could cycle the distance that would be the equivalent. We also had this thing called the Climb, which you may have seen Tear Funds are doing online, and that just was you know, encouraging people to literally use the stairs in their house to climb the height of Kilimanjaro or Ben Nevis or whatever you wanted to do. And I think the really cool thing about having those responses was the kids weren't just learning about these things, they were actually then challenged to say, well, what can I do in my life to make a difference in this world? So we then kind of had feedback from them, and it's still ongoing. I think people are still completing the challenges, which has been great. I wanted to share kind of just literally a few key findings, which hopefully give you an idea of what you might want to do as you head into these next few months. We found that helping young people engage in something that's much bigger than them is actually a real encouragement for them. So at this point, they hadn't really seen many of their friends. They've been in lockdown for months, but actually feeling like we're all watching the same thing. There's 1,000 people across the UK that are engaged in this programme, and then giving them the opportunity afterwards to kind of log into a Zoom call and chat to their friends about it. So the balance of that was really good, because everyone was sharing in the content, but it also was an amazing time for people to build up relationships and feel valued on a kind of one-to-one basis. One thing that we did really see was that the youth leaders who helped enhance the Magnitude online experience with festival packs, people were camping in their back gardens, and those Zoom calls afterwards, they actually saw more development in their young people than those who would just send the link to the content. So if you are going to be engaging in something bigger, whether it's like I don't know, a TED talk or a series on something, I would definitely recommend that you think about enhancing that experience for the young people. Think outside the box, what's going to make it more memorable for them. And I'm sure that you will see the benefit in terms of relationship building because of that. If you kind of think, think about your individuals in the group, what's going to be the thing that they engage with in this whole program. If there's a few who, are fine to watch the content, but actually that's not going to hit home for them, what else can you do that would make it better for them? My other recommendation would be, don't be afraid to try something new. So we all did this for the first time, and believe me, it was scary, and I kind of felt at times, I'm not equipped to do this, maybe we should be asking others to do this. But one of the kind of feedback points we had was the youth were so surprised at the amount of effort that had been put in for them. And so I think that's the encouraging thing, is that actually if you try something new, whether it's recording a YouTube video, going on Instagram Live, doing something like that, something that you've involved, I mean, we've probably all tried to do TikToks, and believe me, I'm as bad as anyone, but I think just hitting home where the young people are at just now is really, really good. So don't be, you kind of have to forget yourself, don't you? You kind of have to think, it doesn't matter what I look like here, but actually the youth will appreciate it. And the other recommendation would be, look at the resources that you have around you. Who are the people that are around? You guys have been working solidly for months now doing this online thing, but actually who are the people that could easily come on board and kind of help take the loads a wee bit? We found that there were people who had more time available because they were working from home, they weren't going out and about in the evening. And so people were more than happy to kind of volunteer a wee bit of time just to see development in the young people that they know and love. So if you want to check out any of the content, you're very welcome. It's the festival is called Magnitude, and you can search it on YouTube, and also I've got a website as well. The content will remain up there, so even if you want to use some of the sessions, we found that it was really helpful, not even to just doing 2.5 days, but to kind of elongate it a wee bit and allow people to rewatch it as well. So yeah, if you have any questions,